Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage the four-time Hammer of the Year, the one and only Julian Dix.
Thank you.
Always hiding. I looked everywhere. I'm forever blowing bubbles. Bring bubbles in the air. United! What an entrance that was, Julian.
Fantastic.
Love that. Love it. Can we do it again? Yeah, mate. Now, look, even, 26 years ago, you left the club, retired, 99?
Yeah, 99,
I've done my maths right, 26 years. And still, to this day, you're loved by the fans, sell out night here tonight. Everyone's here to see you, listen to your stories. And with what's going on at the club at the moment, we need it, mate. We need it. So really looking forward to this night.
You ain't still got your boots, have you? Because we could do it with a left back, I reckon.
I have, but I've only got one fucking knee.
I think that'll do.
Yeah, that's all right, mate. Anyway, Julian, that's for you, mate.
Thank you.
You won?
I wish.
Don't keep asking me to do that all night. I'll fucking fall off the stage. Right, Julian. Let's go right back to the beginning. What we're going to do, we're going to talk about you first off, because we need some positive at the moment. We ain't been great at the start of the season, so it's all about you this first half, mate. We had a chat downstairs. I know you got your feelings on the club at the moment. I can't wait for the second half because the camera's going off. Say what you want. Yeah? So, right, let's go back to the beginning. So, tell us your path to West Ham. You started off at Aston Villa, didn't you? And then you went to Birmingham.
I did. I started off at Aston Villa as a 13-year-old boy with Ron Saunders, who was the manager at the time. And I went up there on trial for a couple of weeks. After a couple of days, he's called me in the office with my mum and dad. He said, look, we want you to sign for Aston Villa. So my dad said, like, do you want to? I said, of course. So it was a case I went home, getting everything ready to go to Aston Villa. And Ron Saunders resigns. So I'm thinking, fuck, that's it now. But he rang up a couple of weeks later and said, look, I'm going to Birmingham City. I want Julian to come with me. So, and again, my dad said, like, do you want to go? I said, yes, of course. On the stipulation, I had to leave Bristol and go to school in Birmingham, which I hated fucking school, let alone the fucking new one. And I remember the game I went was Birmingham v Liverpool, and after that my mum and dad went one way and I went to live in digs with a couple called Janet and Brian, but they had like the apprentices there and some young pros, so, and I had to go to school up there as well, so which wasn't very good, but again it gave me the opportunity to train on obviously the holidays and everything else.
What does it look like when you're leaving Bristol? Because that's a distance, isn't it? Bristol to Birmingham. You're 14 years old. Do you take your mum and dad with you? Are you just going up there by yourself? Are you living in digs there or what?
I was living in digs. I was going to school up there, and I would play for my school side Saturday morning. I'd jump on the train, go to Bristol, play Saturday afternoon for my Saturday side, play Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, jump on the train and go back to Birmingham and go to school. And I've done that for a couple of years, obviously. And I remember the careers officer calling me in the office and said, like, what do you want to do for a living? I went, you know why I'm fucking here, don't you? He went, yeah, but not everybody makes professional football. I said, well, I will. I said, so he went, yeah, but what do you want to do if you don't? So I just walked out. And that was it. And then I became an apprentice.
So you signed for Birmingham. You get into the first team. What was it like? You know, we know your character and your style of play. Did you learn a lot of that in them days?
I did, because if anybody knows Birmingham City side, they were fucking nuts. It was was Tony Coton, there was Pat Van Der Nooy, there was Mark Dennis, Noel Blake, Mick Hartford, Robert Hopkins, Howard Gell, quite a few nutty players. But the good thing is, if you train with them, they will kick the fuck out of you. I literally kick the fuck out of you, and it wouldn't help you up or anything like that. So you had to learn pretty quick. But it was a great upbringing to put me instead to be a footballer.
So let's talk about your move to West Ham. Obviously, John Lyall was in charge at the time. How did that come about?
I think the manager at the time was Gary Pendry at Birmingham. And I can't remember what month it was, but he's called me in the office and said, look, Glasgow Rangers want you. They've offered 350,000, but the chairman's turned it down. So back then it was a case of, okay, fair enough. A few months later, Gary Pendry said to me, he said, Birmingham, West Ham want you. We've accepted a bid of 300,000. So I'm thinking, it's 50 fucking grand difference here. He said, and they're coming to see you tomorrow after training. So make sure you come to the ground and you can have a chat with the manager. So I went to the ground and got in the office, and there was John Lyall and Eddie Bailey, who was a chief scout at the time. John was a chain smoker. He fucking just smoked everywhere. So I've gone in there, and he just said that they've accepted an offer. I was on £140 at the time. So John Lyall said, look, we'll give you £650 a week. So I'm thinking, fuck me, I'm going to be rich here. Seriously, that was the first thing that went through my fucking head. And we'll give you £100 appearance. So I'm thinking, I'm getting £750 a week because I knew I'd play. Fucking hell. So yeah, I said, but look, I've got to go and ring my missus. So it wasn't a case there was mobile phones or anything. So I went into the office, tried to ring my missus, who was engaged. So I've come back in and I said, I'd love to sign for West Ham. He said, I know you would. He said, but what do you know about West Ham? I said, well, I know you, I know Billy Bonds, and I know the chicken run. So he said, the chicken run? I went, yeah. I said, I played there when I was 17. So he went, yeah, I know you did. I said, but it was fucking horrible. He said, what do you mean? I said, well, everybody's fucked my mum. I said, everybody's fucked my dad. I said, they've all fucked my nan, they've all fucked my dog. So he had a bit of a smile on his face, and he said, look, he said, trust me, son. He said, when you sign, he said, they will love you. And that was the case. Like I said, I still have a great relationship with the fans now.
Yeah, I was just about to say, what is it like when you get up that wing? Because there's no hiding on that old chicken run, is there? Like when you're playing on the wing, you know, you get them midfielders that sort of stick to the centre and they don't go over there. But when you're playing on the wing, you hear everything. You hear everything.
Yeah, you do. As I said, like everybody fucked my mum, so it was. I heard everything.
But I mean, when you're playing for us, it could be even more intense because when you don't want to hear that from your own fans.
No, you don't. And there's been a few players over the years. There's had a lot of abuse, and rightly so, some of them. But I remember.
Didn't name any names.
But you have people like Alan McKnight, David Kelly.
Fair enough.
But I remember taking a throw and a little kid tapping me on the shoulder saying, Julian, do you want a sweet? So I said I'd come back and get one at half time. But it was just a fantastic place to play football. And for me, there was no better ground. But as I said, when I played for Birmingham against West Ham, there's two things I remember: Billy Bonds, Elvin, Robert Hopkins smashing his two front teeth out, and the chicken run. That's what I remember that game.
Yeah, no, I mean, just touching on John Lyall as well, you know, we went to an event a couple of months ago and it was a tribute night to John, and there was players from the 75 and 80 team there, and there was so much love in that room. What was John Lyall like as a person?
I didn't play under him for that long, but John was a gentleman. I remember when I come down from Birmingham, I had a sponsor car at Birmingham, so they wouldn't let me keep the car. So I had to come down. I was staying in the Bell at Epping. And John... but this was back in 88. But John would come down. John would come down, pick me up, take me to training, wait for me, after training and take me back to the hotel. And he'd done it for weeks until I got a car. And the only reason I got a car is because, like John said, right, we're going to get you a car today. He said, I'll take you down the Ford garage. So there was a Ford garage by Upton Park. So we went in there. He said, like, this is my new player. I'll give him a discount on a new car. And he'd done that for me as well. But they done everything for you. You know what I mean? He just, nothing was too much trouble.
Yeah, no, he's a great man. Obviously, we got relegated under John Lyle. He unfortunately sacked, and then Lou Macari come in. And I know that you didn't have a great relationship with Lou Macari, did you? I mean,
no, I didn't. But for me, I mean, I know managers get sacked, but the way they done it, I mean, John should have been put upstairs and just director of football and gone from there, but they didn't. They just outed him. So, yeah, Lou come in. I remember my first words with him was we were in Chadwell Heath. I was walking into the training ground. He was walking to his office, and he went, "You're a bit fat." I went, "You're a fucking midget." So
Not the greatest of starts here, Julian.
no.
I tell you what, Julian, I'm glad I weren't in that fucking what you'd have said about me. I'm a fucking fat bastard and a midget, all in one.
But he said, "Do you know who I am?" I went, "Yeah, you're our small manager." Yeah, he was. But Lou's biggest mistake was trying to come into the training ground and stop everything. Stopped like fish and chips and stuff like that. He just wanted like pasta and all like vegetables and all shit like that. And obviously the boy they weren't up for that. Like he was one he stopped ketchup and everything else. So he made a rod for his own back. But on the flip side of that, I mean, I have a lot to thank him for because he made me captain, made me penalty taker, made me free kick taker, made me go up the corners. So obviously that's where all my goals come from. But it was probably a love-hate relationship.
I mean, we could probably link this to today, but what is it like walking into a club when you know sort of the manager's a dead man walking, he's implementing the thing, nobody's really listening to him anymore? What is it like walking into the... Is it chaos when you're walking into them changing rooms?
No, because at the end of the day, even though most of the players hated Lou, we listened to him because he's our manager. It's not like a case that like we fucking blank him.
What if he's talking absolute bollocks?
Yeah, but he did. Sometimes he did because he wanted to just go route one. Yeah. And we went, fuck that. We got fucking people like Alan Devonshire in the team and people like, we're not going route one. So you just fucking go against him. You don't tell him. You just go play football. But he just wanted to go like, not just long ball, but he wanted to hit the striker as quick as possible. But when you got players like Dev and people like that in the team, yeah, obviously you can't play like that.
Yeah. Once again, Lou Macari got sacked, and then the great Billy Bonds takes over. And I know you've got a great relationship with Billy Bonds.
Now.
Yeah. What was it like having him as your manager? Because we've heard some stories from you over the years, and he loved pre-season, but you didn't.
No, he was. Billy's the fittest player manager I've ever known. I mean, even at 42, 45 years old, he was ripped and he was as fit as a fiddle. He loved running. I fucking hated it. But yeah, we did. We had a love-hate relationship as well. Billy's man management wasn't the best. He said that how it was, and obviously a lot of players don't like that. So yeah, I mean, we had pre-season once, and we had to run from training ground to Hainault Forest, which is probably about 4 miles max. And we all had to start at Chadwell Heath. So we started off at Chadwell Heath. We had to run up the road and on the way to, obviously, Hainault Forest. So I'm in the back with Frank, and the boys are at the top of the street, and me and Frank are just coming out the fucking gates. So all of a sudden, you can see Billy sprinting from the front all the way to the back. And he'd come back and said, "Right, you two, fucking hurry up." And all right, Bill, no problem. And he'd sprint to the front again, like past all the other players, sprint to the front again with people like Matthew Rush and Martin Allen. But he'd do that 3 or 4 times. So he'd come back and he went, "Right, you two, fucking hurry up." We're like a mile behind by now. I mean, the gap's just getting bigger. And we said, "Bill, run with us." He went, "I can't run this slow." So he went, "Fucking hurry up." So we went, okay. So we got to Hainault Forest, quite a way behind the other boys. Look, Phil Parks was in front of us, for fuck's sake. You know what I mean? So, and Phil was obviously a big bloke and couldn't run, but he was in front of me and Frank. So as we got to Hainault Forest, we had to run around the lakes and up and down the hills and carrying fucking players up and down the hills and stuff like that. So as we were gonna go home, we all had to start at the gate, and he said, "Look, we all start together, keep together, and we get back to the training ground." So again, they all start and they're all fucking sprinting off and things like that. Me and Frank are fucking jogging. And Billy does the same. He sprints to the back, says, "Right, you two, you have to hurry up. We're not waiting for you. You have to hurry up." So we're like, "All right, Bill." So Bill fucked off to the front. So all of a sudden, this milk float goes past me and Frank. And we catch the milk float up. So we said to him, "Look, can you give us a lift back to the training ground?" He said, "For you two, not a problem." So we jump on the milk float, but Billy used to put coaches on the corners. So like Paul Hilton, Tony Carr. And when we went past them, me and Frank would duck down because they're not looking for you on a fucking milk float, are they? So we ducked down. We got to the training ground literally like 15, 20 seconds behind everybody else. So we come in, Billy's gone, "Fucking boys, magnificent, fucking love you." So me and Frank got showered, fucked off pretty quick. So next day we come in, he calls me in the office. He went, "Julian, office now." Well, fuck. So he says, "How'd you get back to the training ground?" I went, "I ran." He went, "Don't fucking lie to me." He went, "How'd you get back to the training ground?" I said, "I ran, Bill. I've done well." He went, "I'll give you one more fucking chance. How'd you get back to the training ground?" I said, "I jumped on the milk float." He went, "I know." I went, "What do you mean you know?" He said, "Because the milkman's our fucking milkman." And he told me. So hopefully he found it pretty funny. But yeah, that was one pre-season.
Was there constant clashes with Bill early days?
No, to be fair, me and Bill were like two peas in a pod apart from running. In training, I would kick the fuck out of people, and so did Billy. And obviously, you injure players when you go through them. But that was the way I was. And I remember Bish jumping on my back once. We're playing five-a-side. He jumped on my back, so I elbowed Bish, and Billy's had a go at me. So I just walked off training. And then obviously things calmed down. But we played Coventry away, and Mickey Ginn jumped on my back, so I've elbowed him, and I've caught him. So it's half time now, so as I'm coming through the door, Billy's gone, "You fucking wanker." So I've looked behind me because I thought someone was behind me. I went, "You talking to me?" He went, "Yeah." He went, "Elbowing people." I went, "You used to elbow people all the fucking time." So he said, "Don't get flippant." He said, "I should take you off. Now everybody else is coming in." So I took my shirt off and I threw it at him, hit him in the face. Probably the worst thing I could have done because he wanted to rip my fucking head off. So I go in the shower, still got the rest of my gear on, go in the shower. Harry's come and said, "Look, you have to go out for the second half. Billy wants you to go out for the second half." That's fine. So as I come back in the dressing room, he went, "I'll see you Monday morning in the gym." That means he wants to fight you. And the last person I want to fight is fucking Billy. So that was it. The game was finished. So Monday morning comes, he calls me in the office. He said, "Look," he said, I was out of order what I said. I said, "Bill was fine." I said, "Things get said and hit at the moment." So I went, "Is that it?" He went, "Yeah." So as I'm walking out, I went, "Bill, I would have ripped your fucking head off," and walked out. But yeah, I mean, listen, Billy for me was, if I had to pick one player to win the Premiership or save us from relegation, it would be Billy Bonds. All day long.
It wasn't going too well under Billy for a while. You know, when it started to go wrong. How does that affect Billy? Because Billy's Mr. West Ham. You know, there's no one more West Ham than Billy. How does that affect him? As if to say, like, you know, he's a legend at the club here, and now as a manager, he's sort of failing, and the fans are starting to turn a little bit. And
yeah, and that's where your man management comes in. And like I said, Billy's it wasn't the best. No, and to be honest, mine was the same early doors in football. You say how it is, and players don't like it when you fucking tell them off. Some players can take it, some can't. But Billy, he was just a manager. All he wanted you to do was to work hard. That's all he wanted you to do. So you can't play well every game, can't score every game, but you can work hard every game, and that's what Billy wanted from his players. And when you've got players not doing that, that's when he got really angry.
Do you think he saw a little bit of himself in you?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. It was just a case of, I've always said at the end of the day, you died for the badge on the shirt, and that's it. And Billy it typified that. Even in training, he typified that. So yeah, I can see a bit of us in each other.
Yeah, obviously Billy Bonds, West Ham legend. He ain't doing too well lately, so our thoughts go out with him and wish him well. I don't really want to say this next sentence after that. Billy Bonds got sacked. And obviously Harry Redknapp come in. There was a lot of controversy that still some West Ham fans to this day think that Harry stabbed Billy in the back. I mean, you was obviously at the club at the time. What were your thoughts on that?
That's what we heard as well, that Harry stabbed Billy in the back. Apparently, they said, if you want to go to the next level, I need to be manager. And they got rid of Billy. Obviously, everyone was devastated because whether you like Billy or not, he was just an honest, genuine person. But you don't expect that from people. I mean, Billy brought Harry in. Billy couldn't coach. Harry could coach. Harry was a good coach. So Harry used to take the training. But I thought they worked well together because Harry's man management was fantastic. But unfortunately, it didn't work.
Before we talk about the Redknapp years, I just want to go back, and there's a couple of stories that I've heard you tell before. The first one, tell us about Mark Ward and the iron.
I just not long been at the club, and back then, like now players have a room to themselves. Back then we had to share. So there was one day in training that I just kicked the fuck out of Wardy. In the 5-a-side, just battered him. And Wardy's a feisty little fucker, so he was kicking me back and things like that. So after training, John Lyle calls us in the office and said, look, someone's going to break someone's leg out here. I went, well, it ain't going to be fucking mine. So he went, right, he said, you two have to share a room now when we go away. And you have to be on the same side in 5-a-side. So first away trip, can't remember where it was, me and Wardy are sharing a room. So you've got a bed, cabinet, bed, shower, wardrobe. So, and the first person in the room gets the remote control. We only have 3 fucking channels, by the way, but you get the remote control. So Wardy got the remote control, and like a little prick, he was going fucking 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. So I went, leave the fucking telly alone. So he went, fuck off, you fat cunt. And that was my relationship with Wardy. So back then we were wearing like suits to the ground and that. So I was ironing my shirt. So Wardy's bollock naked. So he's gone to have a shower. He's come out still soaking wet. So I got this iron and I fucking went bang on his backside. As he walked past me, screamed like a bitch. But I had to scrape the iron to get his skin off to carry on ironing my shirt. So he went ballistic. And I said, I'm going to have a shower now. So I expected my clothes to be ripped up, my shoes to be fucking thrown out the door. So I've come out, nothing. So I thought, little prick's learned his lesson. So again, I got in bed, I don't know what time it's, probably about after 11 o'clock. I said, fucking warm in here, isn't it, Wardy? He went, yeah, he said, I don't feel very well. So what he's done, he's got a load of chocolate buttons, put them on the mattress, I mean like fucking bags of chocolate buttons, put them all on the mattress, put my cover back on, put the bed on. So I've got in bed, gone to sleep, woke up in the morning. Like most men, you scratch your nuts. I went, fuck, I've shit myself. So, and all of a sudden, I could smell chocolate. So I've gone like that, and I'm fucking chocolate, that's fucking water. And I heard him giggle. So I went, are you awake? He didn't answer me. So I went over, squatted on his face with all my chocolate arse and everything else. And he went fucking ballistic again. But yeah, that's that's our story.
Good relationship with Wardy.
I did have a fantastic relationship with Wardy. Like I said, we were more or less the same as well. So But we used to have fun in our room.
Sounds like a lot of fun in the team, innit? But let me just ask before we go on as well. How many people did go to the gym with Billy?
He only offered me and Leroy. It never got to the gym. No, never got to the gym. No.
Okay.
Another story that I've heard you tell before, and I love it, was Trevor Morley with the knives.
Yeah.
For people that don't know the background to it, give a little bit of the background and explain what you've done to set him up.
Well, obviously, people know that the rumour come out that Bish and Trevor were gay. So
Did anyone ever hear that one?
it was, but the true story was that Bish and Trevor and their wives went out, and like Trevor never really spoke back to his missus. So he's had a few drinks, got a bit brave, and he said, "I'm going out with Bish tomorrow." She went, "No, you're not." "Yes, I am." "No, you're not." One of them. And all of a sudden, she went and got a fucking knife and stabbed him. But she stabbed him on the front of the door and shut the fucking door. So I think Bish or his missus rang the ambulance. They said like he was that close to dying. So next morning we come in, they've gone like everybody's like Trevor's been stabbed, and we thought like he was walking down the street and got stabbed, and we think fucking hell, and he went, "No, he got stabbed by his missus." Went, "Oh, for fuck's sake." So. And obviously he was out for a while. Then we heard the story like Trevor's coming into training today. So he hadn't been there for a couple of weeks. So as we go in the physio's room, there's a skeleton. And what I've done, I got all the knives out the kitchen and fucking stuck them in the skeleton. So as Trevor's come through the door, he's seen the fucking skeleton. He found it funny, to be fair. So, but yeah, that was...
Did he stay with his missus?
He split up with her, now he's back with her.
What now?
Yeah, as far as I know.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, moving on to the Harry Redknapp years. For me, it was my best time supporting West Ham. It's when I started getting into football, supporting West Ham. You spoke a little bit, but what was Harry like? I know you said he was a good coach, but we all know him as they called him the wheelie dealer, but what was he like as a character?
He was like he was a wheeler dealer, obviously in the transfer market. He had to be because he was at West Ham. His man management was fantastic. He liked to play football. So for me, he was a good manager. He made you feel like the best player in that position. And that's for me, that's the best he can get out of you. So he was for us. I think he was fantastic manager.
There was a couple of stories, Ju, about you maybe rebelling a little bit. I remember
me.
Yeah.
No.
So I'm telling you, I'm just saying I'm repeating what I've been told. So it was like Harry would say like you'd be saying to you like we have to wear a suit on Saturday, and you go, well, I'm wearing a fucking tracksuit, or turn up on your motorbike with fish and chips. I've heard that story a couple of times. Was that a choice, or was it just the phase that you were going through as a person, or was it the place of like this geezer's got Billy out and now I'm going to show him a little?
No, not really. I rebelled against a lot of my managers, but the motorbike with the fish and chips. No, I did have a motorbike and I did ride it into training, but that was under Billy. And what was the other one?
About a track. He told you got to wear a suit, and you said I want to wear a fucking track.
Yeah, but there were 1 week you go right, we're wearing suits, and next we're wearing a fucking track suit, and I'd be like, make your fucking mind up. Like we're going away to Newcastle, we don't want to sit in a suit. So it was a case of it wasn't just me. Players didn't really have the balls to fucking tell Harry. So as captain, I had to.
So yeah, there's a mouthpiece.
Yeah, well, yeah, that was the way it was back then.
This is what the boys want.
Yeah, a lot of players didn't go to the manager, so they tell the captain goes to the manager. He tries to get it sorted, so that's what we tried to do.
Good times though, under Redknapp.
Yeah, fantastic times. Yeah, really good. Played good football, done well. He was a great manager to play for.
I'm still sitting here imagining you coming in training on a motorbike with fish and chips balancing on your fucking handlebars.
Well, yeah. I remember coming.
I've never heard that story.
Yeah, he told me.
Not fish and chips, but I come in one day on my motorbike. Charlie, the little security guard, looked at me and said, "What the fuck are you doing?" I said, "I've come to work." So he went, "Right, park your bike over there." So I parked my bike over there, and it had like the exhaust on it, was quite loud. So I've left training and I've got on my bike, I've gone out the gates, and Billy went to Charlie, who's that? He went, that's Julian on his motorbike. So Billy's called me in the next day. He said, your motorbike? I went, yeah. He went, how much is your insurance? I went, I can't get no insurance. I said, I'm a footballer. I said, I can't get none. He said, what do you fucking ride on your bike? You know you're not allowed to ride a bike. I went, yeah, I know, but I like it. So he went, right, you cannot ride this bike to training anymore. So, but what I used to do, I used to ride it, park it at the top of the road, and then walk in the training.
Obviously, under Harry, he sold you to Liverpool. At that time,
Billy sold me to
Liverpool. Sorry, yeah, Billy. Making the move to Liverpool, was that a hard decision for you to leave West Ham, or was there you just couldn't turn the opportunity to play for a club like Liverpool?
I didn't want to go to Liverpool. I remember Billy was the manager, Harry was the assistant, and after training, Harry called me to one side and said, look, if you want to go to Liverpool, I can get you a move. So I'm thinking, I said, no, I'm fine. I don't want to go to Liverpool. I'm happy, even though we were struggling. But that was it. Like Billy didn't, as a manager, didn't say, look, Julian, I don't want you to go. I mean, that's all Billy had to do, say, look, I don't want you to leave. But he didn't. So I thought about it for a couple of days, and I said to Harry, I went, okay, I'll speak to the manager. It was Graham Souness. Met Graham Souness, loved him to bits as a person. Black was black, white was white. That's the way he was. He was fantastic. So I ended up signing him, but on the flip side of that, you got David Burrows and Mike Marsh, two very good players, and I think they obviously not just them two, but they kept West Ham up as well. So which worked out great. But no, I didn't. To be honest, I didn't want to go.
I see an interview with Graham Souness a little while ago, and he speaks very highly of you. He said he's one of the best players that he's ever had. Like, he really rated you. So you got on well with Souness. You didn't get on very well with Roy Evans.
No, Roy was the assistant manager, and when I went to Liverpool, like I did at West Ham, before training, I'd go and get a ball and go out and kick it away. So Ronnie Moran, Roy Evans come out and said, right, give me the ball back. What? He said, give me the ball back. You can't have a ball before training. I went, I'm a fucking footballer. I said, leave me alone. They went, no, you can't have a ball. So they went and got Graham. And like Graham said, look, you've got to bring the balls. I went, fuck off. I said, I'm a footballer. All I'm doing is just passing the ball away. And then, right, so Graham let me get away with it. So that obviously that pissed them off. But it was, I mean, like I said, it was Roy, Graham resigned and Roy Evans took over. And like I said, we didn't see eye to eye. So Roy calls me in the office one day, he says, Birmingham City want you on loan. And I was 25, 26. I said, look, I don't want to go to Birmingham. I just want to go somewhere and settle down. I said, so he's a no. So a few weeks later, he calls me in the office. He said, Tottenham want you. So I went, fuck off. So he said, what do you mean? He went, I'm being serious. I went, so am I, fuck off. He went, why? I said, well, Tottenham and West Ham don't mix. He went, seriously? I went, yeah. I said, like, I have principles. So I said, it's a no. So then I played in the reserves against Everton, and TC was playing for Everton. And told me he was going back to West Ham. It was about 6 weeks later, Jamie told me that Harry wanted me at West Ham. And I said to Jamie, tell your old man I'm already walking. And that was it. It seemed to take ages. It wasn't that long. But yeah, it was just fantastic to be back.
I mean, it was mad when you re-signed, because back in them days, we didn't have social media or anything. I remember just flicking through the Nuremberg recorder as a kid and seeing you holding up the shirt again. I think it was Don Hutchinson as well that signed, and I was like, fucking hell, Julian's back. But yeah, some great days. And during the Redknapp days, we had some great games at Upton Park. Two that stick out is the 4-3 against Spurs and the 2-2 against Man United at home. I mean, you was captain that night against Spurs. I mean, what's it like being in that tunnel and a night game at the Bowling, London Derby, pissing down the rain, leading that team out?
To be honest, for me, it was just like any other game. I know we all fucking dislike Tottenham. I dislike every fucking team I played against, but it was under the lights, and it was against Tottenham. It was a sellout in everything else, and the only thing you want to do is for me was not to let the fans down. It was, and Tottenham had some good players. I mean, they were a decent side, but at home we always had a chance to win games against, all right, your Tottenhams, your Man United, your Arsenals. You always had a chance of winning because it was a fucking horrible place to play football. So for that day, that night was, I think everything clicked. I think it was Johnny Artson and Paul Kitson's more or less first game as such. And they were a godsend. I mean, Johnny, obviously big, fucking Welsh, ginger, fucking horrible fucker, was great to play with. And Paul Kitson was a runner, and Paul just ran behind. It caused people problems. So they were a godsend for us. So that was a good night.
That was, I think that was a Stockport season. Remember the Stockport game? Pissing down the rain.
Yeah, I mean, Ian Davis scoring on goal.
Ian scored,
yeah, I remember that, yeah.
But the other game I mentioned there, the Man United game, I think that was one of my favourite ever games at Upton Park, being 2-0 down to the great Man United with the players there on the pitch. Then we brought on Florent Radichoyu and it completely changed.
Yeah, we obviously were 2-0 down, like you said, they had a fantastic side and some great players. At 2-0, we're thinking we're going to get fucking tanked here. But then, like I said, Harry brought on Florent. It was a fantastic player. And he always said to me, like, the English game's too aggressive for me. But he come on and scored a great goal. And then I think it was, it might have been Dimitrescu, give the ball to Michael Hughes, and Schmeichel brought him down. And obviously we got a penalty. So it was a case of, I think it was David May and Radic were having a bit of a fight on the edge of the box in that. And I remember Eric Cantona tapping me on the old shoulder and said, "Julian, small goal." I went, "Eric, big fucking heart." And that was it. It was it's easy to say now, but it was one of them penalties that you weren't going to miss. So yeah, it was that was a great night as well, and we could have won it in the end.
That's one of the games when I was young.
Young?
Younger. When I was younger, that really showed what that ground could do and what it can pull you back from. You go back to Chelsea the other day, we go 1-0 up, 2-1 down, 3-1 down, and then in the old days, if you was up to Park, you think if the crowd get behind you here, you can come back. And then that's completely gone from this new place.
Yeah, I mean, Upton Park was very special. Like I say, I go back every 6 months, and I know it's flats. But I park my car up, I have a walk about, and because it holds a lot of memories for me. It's an unbelievable place to play football.
Yeah, it was a lot of memories for us all.
Yeah, I mean, another quick thing I want to talk to you about. Everton away, Ludo gets sent off, you go and goal. Did you volunteer to go and goal, or was you just told to go and goal?
No, I volunteered because usually Harry put Les Seeley on the bench, and for some reason he didn't. So we didn't have a goalkeeper. And we don't expect Ludo to get sent off. So he obviously got sent off. And we're looking around going, who's going in goal? So I thought, fuck it, I might as well go in goal. So I put his jersey on, come down to my fucking knees. I put his gloves on, they're fucking back, that's too big for me, so my fucking fingers are flapping like that. But it was, for me, it was a great experience. You don't expect to go in goal. But it was a case of, listen, we're not going to win the game, we know that, but it's a case of keeping it to a reasonable score. Obviously, the first one was a penalty, and I remember TC saying to me, he always puts it to your left. So, no, he always puts it to your right. So, all right. So I dive to my right, he puts it to my fucking left, and I would have dived to my left because I'm fucking left-footed. So that was the first one, but I enjoyed it. It was good fun. That player got man of the match as well, which is fucking even better.
Like towards the end of your career at West Ham, you obviously suffered a couple of injuries, and I think you missed the whole of the 97-98 season. And then when you come back, we had a lot of different characters in the squad at that time. You had players like Neil Ruddock, Ian Wright. What was the changing room like around? Because it must have been hard for you because obviously you weren't playing as much and you see the lads, but did you get involved as much?
No.
Stayed away.
No, well, not a case of staying away. If I'm not playing football, it frustrates me. And like I said, my 2 injuries, I was out for just over 3 years. And obviously my suspensions could be like 3.5 years. And you just want to be involved. But like I said, the characters like your writers and your Razors and your DiCanios and people like that, it was a great place to be involved in. As you said, because there was a lot of fun. And they were good players as well. Harry had a knack of attracting good players, like proper players. So it was a good place to be around, even though I was injured for most of it.
I remember towards the end of your West Ham career, I think it was the Charlton game. He played you at wing back, and I think that's when you knew this is the end. For me.
Yeah, I knew it when he said to me, like, you're playing left wing back today, which I've never played in my fucking career. Now I've got a dodgy knee. So I knew I was being hung out to dry. Didn't play particularly well. So I think the next game was, I think it might have been Newcastle away. I'm not sure. And he said, look, you're going to come and sit on the bench. I went, you get fucking no chance of my sitting on the bench for you. So that was that. But before that, they tried to pay me off. I had a 3-year contract, tried to give me 6 months' money. And I just...
That's about right.
Yeah, so... And I just said, look, I'll stay here for 3 years. That's it, I'll stay here for 3 years.
Nothing they could do.
No. So after that, the Newcastle game, I said, look, just pay me up and I'll walk out. And that was it. So they paid me up. They gave me a testimonial, which was nice of them. But that was it. I walked out of that Harry's office knowing that was my career at West Ham was finished.
Just talking about the testimonial, I remember being there that day, and I remember it would not be a Julian Dix testimonial without it kicking off. And Paulo Di Canio started off a 17-man brawl, slapping all these Spanish players, and it was just a great moment. What do you remember from that?
I remember him slapping the player, and it all kicking off. And he come in after the game and he said, look, Julian, he said, like, I'm sorry. I went, Paulo, it's my testimonial. I said, fucking brilliant. I love it. So yeah, that was it.
He was a genius, Paulo. Look, you obviously, people forget how young you was when you retired. You was only 29 when you retired.
Yeah.
It's mad, because when I was speaking to somebody the other day, they said, no, I'm sure he was in his mid-30s. I went, no, he was 29. Like, it's a sad way to sort of end a good career.
Yeah, but some shit happens, isn't it? It's not nice. I mean, I was out, my first injury, I was 22 years old. I was out for 14 months. And after the first 2 or 3 months, I remember going into my physio and saying, look, it was John Green at the time. I said, look, I'm bordering on being an alcoholic here. I said, because all I'm doing is going down the pub, feeling sorry for myself, getting drunk, doing it fucking night after night after night. And I was literally bordering on being an alcoholic. So he said, look, we'll go and see the surgeon, name was John King, and we'll chat to him, see what we can do. So I've gone in there, and he said, and we've told him, he went, play golf. Fuck off, I said, that's an old man's game, golf, fuck that. So he went, play golf. I had a brace on. He said, look, you can use a buggy and things like that. So I started playing golf, and like one of them, I had plenty of time on my hands. I used to hit like 400 or 500 balls every day, play 9 holes. And then all of a sudden, I got down to scratch in 5 years. So that helped me through it. The second time, I was out for 18 months, but I knew what to expect. So I wasn't bordering on being an alcoholic anymore, because I knew what to expect. So, but they especially my first injury was tough time.
Julian, can I want to go a bit away from that a bit, because obviously we're coming towards the end of the career now. But do you feel like your hard man reputation, you was known as the Terminator, right? That's what we called you, the Terminator. Do you think it overshadowed your actual ability? Because we just watched a video here, and I purposely did this on purpose. I did not put not one tackle in there, not one red card, no nothing. All I put is the goals. And I'll tell you what, that is quality, what we've just seen up there. That was 2.5 minutes of 65 goals this man scored, and everyone would just think about you as a penalty man, as a thing. But you're talking about real quality. Do you think that overshadowed the actual ability that you had?
My reputation, absolutely. It didn't help. I mean, I played in the under-21s. We were in Toulon in France, in a tournament like Gaza was playing and things like that. So I got sent off. I got sent off in the quarterfinals. Obviously missed the semi-final, played in the final. So we got beat 4-2 by France. For me, a couple of their goals were offside, which obviously didn't matter in the end. But as I've come through the dressing room, there's a ball in front of me, and I've kicked the ball, hit a bucket of water. And our manager at the time was Dave Sexton. He said, if you do that again, so I'm going to fucking knock you out. So I got the ball and fucking done it again. And obviously it got split up and things. But I didn't know he was a fucking amateur boxer. He would have fucking beat me up. He used to take people, when he used to at Chelsea, he used to take people behind the shed and fight them for money. Thank fuck. But then I was playing for England B, we were in Russia, and I was sat around the table with some beers on it, and we're playing the next day. Larry McMenemy was the manager. It is 9 o'clock. He went, right, you got to go to bed. I went, what? He went, you got to go to bed. I went, I'm fucking 21 years old. I said, I'm married, I've got 2 kids. I ain't going to bed at fucking 9 o'clock. The other 3 fuckers went to bed, left me there. So, go figure, I didn't play in that game. So, but it was a case of, my reputation didn't help. I remember coming, we were on pre-season, and John Gorman, who was the assistant to Glenn Oddle, I was going in a Lineker's bar in Tenerife. He was coming out, it was 3 o'clock in the morning, and he went, grow your hair, I'll get you in the England side. So I've gone, fuck off, you prick. So, but he denies it. But he was fucking paralytic, and I was still sober. So yeah,
that's fucking mad, isn't it? Considering 6 years later, we're the captain of a Mohawk that lead us out of a fucking World Cup.
But the thing is, you have fucking alcoholics, wife beaters, drug abusers in the team. But because I had fucking short hair, he wouldn't play me.
Probably the best left back never to play for England in my eyes, mate.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
You obviously went into management. You managed at lower league level for a little while, and then you got a call to take over the West Ham ladies. I mean, what was that like as an experience?
Honestly, I enjoyed it. It was good fun. It was one of them, like you said to them, we're running today. And if you say that to a player, they go, fuck me, how far are we running? The ladies went, fine, no problem. Just go on with it. Just fucking go on with it. Got on with everything. Didn't stay down when they got tackled. They got up. I really enjoyed it. They were a good bunch of ladies. Honestly, it was really, really good fun. West Ham didn't fucking help on that at all until I got involved. So yeah, it was. I really enjoyed it.
It was sort of separate then, wasn't it? It was 2 separate clubs and wouldn't give them kits and all of that.
Well, they couldn't train anywhere. So in the end, we got them to train at Chadwell Leaf on the AstroTurf. They wouldn't supply them with kit. And then West Ham ladies, they had to buy their own kit. It is
shameful, isn't it? Yeah, shameful.
Especially the way it is now. You know, it's and you'd have thought with Karen Brady at the club at the time, she would have been all over that, promoting the ladies. But just trying to find something nice to say about. I'm struggling here, Julian. But yeah, look, you got the call from Slaven. Slaven was going in at West Ham. What a great time that was.
Yeah, his agent rang me and said, look, Slaven's 99% got the job. He wants you to come and coach. And I said, obviously, great opportunity. I'd love to. I said, but you got one problem. He went, what's that? I went, Karen Brady. I said, she fucking hates my guts. He said, nah, don't worry about that. So, and that was it. I went in and obviously coached at West Ham. Obviously, we were still at Upton Park. We stood at Chadwell Leaf. It was, unbelievable time.
Yeah, I mean, look, it was a great season. Last season at the Bowling, we had some great away days, great victories on the road at City, Arsenal, Liverpool. We had a special player that season. Whatever you think about him now, he was a special player, Dimitri Payet. I mean, what was it like seeing him day in, day out at the football club, watching him train? Because he was just unreal. He brought the best out of everyone that season. Yeah,
listen, Dimmy was a good player, but when you play with people like Alan Devonshire and people like that, Di Canio and people like Kim McAvenny and people like that, Dimmy was a good player, but he wasn't one of them you go, fuck, Maradona maybe. But Dimmy was, don't get me wrong, he was a fucking good player. And he worked hard at his game. And he worked well with Lanzini. But yeah, he was a gifted player. and he was a really nice lad as well.
They had a bromance with Mark Noble. To tell us a bit about that, because they had a real special bond, them two, didn't they?
Yeah, they listen. They obviously Mark was looking after him. Because obviously Dimmy didn't know anybody over here, so Mark took him under his wing.
Do you think players like, I mean, just because it's the Premier League era and they're, because I look at the players now, and you see some good players, you can see some quality players, but then when I think back to the early 2000s, late 90s and things like that, I think there was one of them in every team. You know what I mean? Do you think that we've sort of overshadowed the likes of Devonshire, Brooking, and looking and put people like Payet on a pedestal just because it's modern?
Yeah, but you look at like Dev and Sir Trev. I mean, they were magnificent players, but I think it's because they played so long ago that people do forget them. Like the kids forget them. Kids don't know who they are. I go and do like Q&As and there's kids there and they go, "Oh, this is Julian." They go, "Who?" Yeah. So it is, but listen, it happens to Trev and people like Dev and obviously Bobby Moore. They'll always be remembered. They'll always be remembered. Might be like behind 10 other players, but they'll always be remembered.
But when we talk about top West Ham player, I'm talking about when you think about West Ham, you think of Billy Bond, you think of Bobby Moore, you think of Mark Noble, you think of Julian Dix. What is it like to be a living legend? Like to be up there with them?
Well, to be honest, you don't
think about it.
No, of course you don't. You don't expect it. It's for me that there's one standout is obviously Bobby Moore because of what he done with the World Cup and things like that, and the other one is Billy Bonds. I mean, Billy played like 700 and odd games. You know what I mean, in his career, which that's a fucking lot of games. I mean, players might know when they got to play fucking once a week. But yeah, for me, Billy's head and shoulders above everybody else in that club.
I mean, during that season, you spoke about Mark Noble there. He had a testimonial that season. I think it was great for us fans to have that one game at Upton Park where it was just full of West Ham, no away fans there, to see all the legends come back. And I've got to admit, like, and this is a story I tell all the time, is that for the last 2 seasons there, I sat in the centenary upper with my daughter, and that's where when I first went to West Ham, that's where I sat. And I remember when you started that game, and I remember looking down, and I was sitting next to my mate, and my mate was right, and I'm not going to lie, I had a tear in my eye, because to see you at left back again, one last time, it brought me back to being that 10-year-old, excited, going into Upton Park again, and it was such a special day.
Oh, thank you. I remember Mark saying to me, because obviously my knee, he said, like, "Can you play in my testimonial?" I said, "Well, I could be on the pitch." I said, "I don't know how much I'll do." I said, "But I definitely want to be on there." And I remember I kicked Mikel Antonio, and he said, "Why'd you kick me?" I went, "Because I could." So it was, but yeah, it was great to be back on that pitch, because I never thought it would ever happen again.
I'll tell you one story about Ryan, and he didn't know I was going to tell you this, right? But the first time we ever met, we've been best mates since we was 10 years old, and we bonded over. We had the same shirt. Do you remember the cream Eat Crew shirt? Yeah. So the back one. So pony, yeah. My cousin was Danny Williamson, so it wasn't really my cousin, but his cousin. So I had one of his shirts, and when I went round the corner, Ryan was the only. We was the only two that had it, you know, because it was a fucking shit shirt, to be quite honest with you. And we was the only two that had it. And I walked round the corner, and he got this kid here, a year younger than me. He's wearing the same shirt, and I thought, it caught my eye. He's got Dix on the back, I've got Williamson on the back. Look at his hair, pure shave. Like, I mean, to the razor, because he wanted to look like that man now.
I only grew my hair when you retired.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, to the razor. That's how much he influenced him back in the day.
I used to play left back. I didn't even have a left foot. I used to wear number 3.
Shaved head.
Shaved head. Good days. And I used to cut my top. And I remember my mum. Do you remember Vin Sports on Barking Road? So I got the West Ham away shirt, and I remember cutting it with scissors just to look like you. I went in. My mum looked at it and went, "Fucking whack." Right, man.
50 quid each, they were then.
Yeah. But my kit, every time I cut mine, my kit man would get his missus to sew it back up for the next game. Yeah. It wasn't a case of like they get 2 shirts every game now. we had 2 shirts for the fucking season.
So I remember you cutting. I think it was that one there. That one had the big like fucking 1970s fucking.
It was
Tron
too
Travolta
tight.
collar.
Yeah, it was too tight around my neck.
So you used to cut them off, and then when I look at that one there, maybe they used to sew them back in for you.
The top one they sewed up, but you got the one underneath that had fucking buttons on. So when you mis-chested, the fucking buttons went into your chest.
Yeah, but we all done it. We all cut our shirts, didn't we? Yeah.
But that season as well, the last season at the Bowling, that night against Manchester United, I mean, it was a Hollywood script, wasn't it? It was an emotional night, you know. Talk to us about the journey to the stadium as well.
Well, we stayed in, like for every home game, we stayed in the Radisson at Canary Wharf, and usually take literally like a little bit of traffic, probably 20 minutes. So obviously we had to give ourselves a bit more time. So he said to the coach driver, like, what time we're leaving? He said, well, we'll give it half an hour. Fucking hour and a half, we're still on the ground. So we're trying to get through, obviously, all the crowds. So everywhere you look, Green Street, Barker Road, it's just a sea of bodies everywhere. I literally see bodies everywhere. So we couldn't get any further, so we had to park the coach up and we had to walk into the ground. Obviously, it was delayed, but it was just probably one of the best nights of my life, and I wasn't even fucking playing. One of the best nights of my life, but probably one of the saddest nights of my life as well, because I knew after that it had gone. Like literally, like you're not playing any more Premiership games. It's done and dusted. And that was a horrible thought. But like you said, you got one of the biggest clubs in the world, and you beat them. The script don't get any better than that. But when you come down from that, and you're walking out the ground, you know that's it. It's gone. There's no more.
Spot on, mate. It was as I said, the ending to the game. Winston Reid getting the winner. You know, then we had the bit after, and then when they play that video with Bobby Moore, turn off the lights, and you walk out of that stadium, and like you said, that's it. It's over. It's a sad day, and I think we'd all want it back, wouldn't we? We would all love to just have that stadium back, because you was obviously at the club when we was moving to the London Stadium. I know I've seen you in interviews before. You weren't sold by it, was you? You didn't want to go there.
No, fuck me, no. Upton Park was an unbelievable place to play football. Obviously, I never played at the Olympic Stadium, but Upton Park was, people call it the church. And it was just a great place to play football. And I understand football moves on, but I'd rather have Upton Park full of 40,000 West Ham fans than the Olympic Stadium full of 65,000 people with 40,000 of fucking visitors. That's how I see it.
Did you realise when you walked in? I mean, as a player, you played at Upton Park. I know a lot of the boys were there and they played at Upton Park. But did you look in when you first walked in there? Did you think, "Fuck me, this ain't gonna work. This is not a football
in
stadium."
the Olympic Stadium?
Yeah,
yeah, because you knew it wasn't okay. If you're maybe a Man City, you're going to fill it and you're going to win trophies and things like that. Then maybe, but we're West Ham. You know what I mean? All right, we won the trophy, first one in fucking 50 odd years, but. For me, we were spoiled at Upton Park. It's because of everything was so tight. People would let you know if you weren't playing well or things like that. But Olympic Stadium, it was, well, I presume it still is. It's lifeless, soulless. I might be biased. I don't think so, because I was there as a coach. And I remember we were getting battered by Man City, and I think it might have been. They scored the 4th goal, and thousands of people walked out, and Slab, instead of being fucking 5 yards away, 55 yards away.
On his own?
And on his own, he fucking looked lost out there. And I wasn't fucking going out there to call it back in. But it was, listen, I look at it, I was just spoiled at Upton Park.
If there's one moment in your West Ham career that you could just bottle up and just, you know, on the deathbed, you could just watch it one last time. What's that moment?
Getting promotion under Billy Bonds to go into the Premiership. As I said, we all love Billy. He had his faults in everything else, as we all do. But to know that we were going to the Premiership was fantastic, and fantastic for Billy as well. So that would, if I could really have one game, that would be the game.